So I wanted to talk today about something called a psychic detox. And I kind of came across this term in my own mind yesterday because, we're all so focused on getting fit and having great bodies, and there's a huge trend of juice detoxing and really detoxing what we can see and getting clear skin and healthy bodies. But there's something a lot more powerful and a lot more subtle that often needs detox, especially in our day and age where we're just completely bombarded by information, bombarded by emotions, and being told how to feel or what to think or what to want in very subtle and subliminal ways, either through advertising or pop culture or endorsements that we get from people we idolize on some level collectively, whether or not that's individually, changes from person to person, but collectively there's a message that's very repetitive, and repetition is very powerful. So I want to share this practice that I've been engaging in personally, repetitively, to edge out all of the noise in my mind and all of the unhealthy attachments I might have to certain people or certain activities or certain habits. So it all starts with presence. That's really the big catalyst. And the presence creates the space for us to be able to flip the camera around and witness ourselves. So we're so obsessed with selfies. But again, we're not really seeing inside and seeing the stuff that motivates everything that eventually comes to the surface and affects how we interact and form relationships with other people, and then again with ourselves, as those relationships kind of inform what we're doing and how we're behaving vis-a-vis another person. So that presence, when it's founded on a consciousness that is based in love, that consciousness can start to inform your daily conversation with yourself and your daily habits. And when it starts to inform the present moment that you give yourself to witness, so let's say you have really bad anxiety, or you are constantly worrying or overthinking things, or self-doubting yourself. All these things that start in the mind, right? Become nervous tics, anxiousness, anxiety, guilt, shame, fear. Whenever you feel that physically in your body, because you know what it feels like, maybe you feel sick, or you feel tired, or just you get a headache, you feel out of sorts. When you feel that coming on, that is the opportunity to invite presence. Presence is sort of like a big air horn that just blows the air of any other sound and only creates that one sound. So that presence, like kind of like an atomic bomb of space in your mind, can create the environment for the love consciousness to reestablish itself, to take hold. So that's another part. It's the love consciousness. So we're kind of raised in this fear society where all of the products and services are founded upon what if and protecting ourselves from that what if. So protecting yourself on some level, and in some cases, is super important and healthy and smart. But the level at which we're doing it collectively is psychotic, actually. And what it does is creates walls between ourselves and other people, and between ourselves and what's really deep inside going on. So we're walking around completely disconnected. So that presence, whenever these thoughts or fears or anxieties come up, or these urges, these like carnal urges to do something, whether it's destructive, whether it's pleasurable, but eventually makes you feel like shit, that urge can be edged out through the presence of love consciousness. Because consciousness is like a big cloud almost. You can look at it that way. It's like a vibe. And that vibe informs our mind and how we make decisions and judgments and come to conclusions about certain things. It's our lens. And then our mind, our intelligence, which is now based in this cloud consciousness, either of fear or love, our intelligence gets ingrained in our mind, and that's where the voices come, that's where the thoughts are formed. And then the mind can come down, trickle down to our senses, our behavior, our real flesh and blood activities. So by flipping, that fear consciousness to love consciousness, we can start to operate in our minds and in our hearts, and then finally in our actions and what choices we make. Whether we choose to go out binge drinking to just like have a good time, or whether we choose to sit at home and connect to ourselves, or find a group of people that foster that connection to yourself, because you don't have to sit at home alone and do it. You can really find groups of people that are interesting and smart and really there for your well-being versus mindless destruction. So, and in turn, our senses become more refined, and the things we choose to put into our senses, to listen, to eat, to taste, to see, to watch, everything then starts to shift to inform and support that love consciousness, or inform and support that fear consciousness if we're still stuck in those habits. But then it comes back around and it makes us feel like crap. So that's the choice. So this is just something I've been working on and really crystallizing for the last few months in a very real way, but over the course of years, really. And it keeps coming back, and that's how I know it's true. It keeps coming back. So with that, here's to your love consciousness, and happy Valentine's Day.